Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room. Bear with me a moment here. I'm having a little, I'm having a moment, a little bit of a connection difficulty here this morning. All right. Well, I'm just getting my charts back online. So there's not much to look at yet, but it'll give me an opportunity to show those of you who haven't set up your charts with templates how you can load your charts. If you're rebuilding your trade manager and your charts every morning, you're doing something wrong because there's actually templates available or a template option available with your trade manager. Got quite a few charts here to load, so there we go. Okay, we're caught up. So when you have your charts like this and they're all loaded, really to load your trade manager, all you need to do, you can click on the strategies tab and you can just hit apply if you like, but I always hit, or pardon me, you can just hit OK if you like, but I like hitting apply. And voila, there's your trade manager. Now, if you haven't loaded trade manager before, so let's remove this here for a second. If you're just loading trade manager for the first time, before you apply it, go through it and make your changes. Make your changes how you want it to be. And then once you have everything set up the way you like, go here to save and just give it a name, whatever you want. You see, I've named mine Eagle, Falcon, Hawk, so on. Then when it comes time to load your trade manager, you just load your template and you'll always have those same settings. You won't need to go through your trade manager every morning and tweak the settings the way you like it. Same thing true for the Trailblazer, for those of you using the Trailblazer. You can see it's a little bit of a time saver. Okay, I'm just going to throw it now on the rest of my charts. Be with you in just a second. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a sell-off this morning. All right. So look at this block going through the Geiger counter here. Crazy block of selling and buying out of the open. Looks like they're fairly evenly balanced, but it did result with a nice push lower right out of the gate. And I think for those of you looking for that first eagle signal, you're going to be pretty happy here this morning. This one occurred either right on the open or a minute before. Get it up there. Ooh, it's just about to get down to our profit target. Yeah, I know, Russell. Russell's saying, how about that first signal again? Actually, I think this might be the first signal. Yeah, there it is right there. So you've definitely, regardless, you've definitely hit your profit target. And Russell, I did get your email, and I'm just looking for a time in my calendar for you next week so that we can get together for a little bit. Not ignoring you. I'm always concerned. I know email, most people are very patient. They wait a day or two, and occasionally my inbox gets flooded. It seems like emails come in flurries. or my emails come in flurries. All right, so fantastic start to the morning here. And we had signals, it looks like, across the board, not just the eagle, but here on the hawk, we got a nice macro pullback. Actually, that was pre-market. Here was the open, came back with another macro pullback slash 4-arrow consolidation. Now, technically, this is not 4 arrows. You only have 3 here. But the concept is the same. A 4-arrow consolidation really is just a bear flag, or the best ones look like a bear flag or a bull flag. So we have 1, 2, 3. Didn't get a 4th signal, but that macro pullback tipped you off. And great result out of the open. Did the Falcon give us a signal as well? Well, yes. You can see this as a trend change signal or a late filter entry signal. Either or. They're kind of overlapping each other. And there was your signal out of the open. And let's go take a look at the Raptor. I'm sure there's going to be a Raptor signal here. And sure enough, we've got a double pullback or a cloud crossover, however you want to see that. Again, the signal's overlapping a little bit on that one. All right, sellers pushing back a little bit now. Pardon me, buyers pushing back a little bit now. All right, while we're waiting for the NQ to sort itself out, let's take a look here what's going on with crude. Here's crude now on the Eagle. So, a bit of a sell-off yesterday. And kind of a sideways day here today. You could, I suppose, see this maybe as a little bit of an expanding triangle, something like that. Why is that important, you say? Well, very often the market will reverse off of an expanding type formation. You wouldn't think so, but yeah, it happens. Market gets a little broader and then starts making more pronounced swings higher, and before you know it, you've got, or lower, and before you know it, you've got a trend change. In this case, because the trend, or yesterday's trend, has been down, I might anticipate something higher. Well, at the very least, it's starting to appear, if this little swing low holds, that might be our test of the low, our short-term retest of the extreme, or test of the extreme. And maybe we'll see the market rally here and try to test, well, let's see, kind of eyeballing it, could get up to 51.20. That would be substantial. Soybeans sort of sideways. Here's soybeans now on the hawk. Very characteristic of a sideways market. Lots of yellow bar clusters. The market really range bound. Prices pretty much skewered by this 986 area. Good opportunity to use an OCO order if you were so inclined. You could bracket this zone, and you could trade above, you could short below, or just wait for the breakout. I didn't even take a look to see where we left off yesterday. Ooh, we got a little bit of an opening gap here. So the market looks like finished yesterday quite strong. Looks like eyeballing at around 48.45. And we opened down here, it looks like around 48.30, give or take. So it could be a little bit of a 15-point gap up there. As we come back now with a first micro-macro cross higher, we're right into the hard edge on the eagle. The hard edge parked here at the 48.30 area. So here's what I'm thinking. The market should rally from here, but is this turning into a bear flag? It's a pretty steep bear flag if it is. And of course, we need a test of the extreme before we can write off the sellers entirely. Well, for today anyway. Russell's asking, how about the opposite triangle? I think what Russell's referring to is a pennant style formation. Do I have one here? I suppose this one's fairly close. So occasionally you're going to get the market doing one of these, where you get this pennant flag forming. Traditionally, these are continuation patterns. So if you get a pennant style formation, so the market comes up, wedges up, looks like a pendant on a flag. Traditionally, these are continuation formations, but not always. What this is showing you is showing you extreme consolidation. And as the market begins to consolidate more and more, really what's happening is it's becoming more and more neutral. Therefore, a breakout can go either way, although most times you'll see it continue the same direction that it took going in. But you see, here's an example where it reversed and went the other way. And then a little while later, we had one form right here. And that did continue. Those are just rules of thumb, of course, to keep in mind. Just because you spot an expanding triangle does not mean the market must reverse from its trend. These are all just hints. There's another very broad formation. It's difficult to spot because it takes a long time to develop. It's called a diamond formation. So the market comes down and then it begins expanding and then it starts contracting. This is almost a surefire reversal formation. But in spite of its accuracy, like I say, it's very difficult to spot because prices come down and then they rebound up. And I'm just going to simplify this for you. Rebounds down, rebounds up, rebounds down, and then starts to move higher. Well, do you see what's happened here? We've got a test of the extreme. Right? We've made a new swing high, or we've broken the swing high. We've made a higher swing low. In other words, we've tested the extreme, and then the market breaks out. So we already know to look for these elements, even though very often a diamond type formation is pretty difficult to spot on your chart. So I suppose this could be a diamond. It's a rule of three. It's expanding. Right? It's getting broader in range. And it's retested and failed. So yeah, I guess that could be a diamond. Extremely, like I say, extremely accurate formation. You don't hear about it a lot because it is so difficult to spot. Real time anyway. Perhaps a little easier to see in hindsight. But like I said, don't worry about not being able to spot one because we already know to look for all those elements. We know to look for breaks of previous swing highs and lows, tests of the extreme, that kind of thing. Oops. Alright, so here's the Raptor. I'm starting to wonder whether this is a soft edge buy signal, which would be a counter trend opportunity, or if the market's just going to be stuck here today. Does look like we have had a retest of the low. They're trying. I bet my hawk is getting all choppy. Not too choppy just yet, We do gotta have a couple of yellow bar clusters here. Technically, that is a macro pullback signal slash first micro-macro cross signal. I think we're going to see a little bit of a rally here. All right, Raptor. So we've got comparable signals on the Raptor and the Hawk. I'll throw in a buy order above the high of this current bar. I'll allow that to bring me in on some renewed momentum, and I'll get some stops ready below. All right, let's see what they got. Okay, so obviously 48.30 going to be a little bit of a trouble spot for us. Oh dear, and it's near the top of the hour. Oh well. Come on. Where is my next line? Okay, so the median line going to be here at 48.37 3/4, essentially 48.38, and the primary resistance at 48.47 half. That would re-challenge yesterday's highs. Alright, I'm going to force this trade to break even. It's just a tick too short of my break even target. I was looking for more follow through on the break of 48.30. Come on, buyers, get in there. I'm taking a bit of a chance. Ideally, the best stop is down here at 48.19, 48.20. All right, might have caught a lucky break. Tagged the break even regardless. Next obstacle, the high of the morning at 48.33 half. Get up there. You can do it. We've got a couple nice rally bars in here. You know, when the market, or when these bars form without too much of a tail, that's a good sign. It's like on this morning sell-off, you see, all these clean bars all the way down, no hesitation, just boom, boom, boom. Come on. Anywhere around that 48.40 mark, we would have filled the gap from this morning. Although, what did I say? They left off yesterday at 48.45, so there could be a little bit more room up there, providing we can find some momentum. Come on. Come on. Don't make me get out the mouse again. No, I guess we're not going to get that follow through, not yet anyways. So they're just hovering above our break even. I think we may see a larger reversal here. Come on. No, here they go. Darn it. Okay, well, it was worth a try. Just disappointed that I didn't take the profit while I had it, but, I had my plan. I stuck to it. It's almost as though the market's getting a little bit sideways again. Okay, right now the Eagle, the only one even suggesting a sell as we're back into the hard edge, and I think we might even be near a trend line here somewhere. So we've got the warning dial. We don't have the signal just yet. The signal is very likely to print on the low of this bar. That's also going to flip over the ATR and put everything in sync. If, of course, the market continues lower. And the hawk back into yellow bars is giving me a little pause. back here on the Raptor, this may be a cloud crossover. So the cloud's going from bearish now to bullish, the market retreating into the cloud, and now the cloud looking for the cloud to bounce the market out and perhaps give us a buy signal. Oop, so there's the the confirmation. What's the word I'm looking for? The cloud crossover signal. I drew a blank there for a sec. We're right near the high of the morning again, so that could be problematic. Ideally, the best entry is above the 48.34 area. That would pretty much take out the sellers. Yeah, or not. See, the second push entry can be very effective when you're, well, if you're not sure, if you're a little bit timid about the trade, if you can't quite put your finger on it, but something in your gut is telling you, I need to be a little extra careful. A second push entry is a great way to get into a trade without getting into a trade too early. You simply allow the signal to engage. You look for the market reaction to that, and there's almost always a reaction. It's pretty rare indeed that you get a signal and the market just bolts. There's usually at least a little hesitation on the next bar. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to make a little swing like it is doing right here. Very often it's just like this, where you see the tail on this bar. We know that after this signal engaged, sometime during the life of this bar, it traded down here before reversing and going back up and continuing higher. That's a second push entry. And like I say, it's a great way to help keep you on the right side of the signal if you're not entirely sure how the trade is going to play out. Okay, so now we're back into some sideways drift mode. Again, yellow bars forming here on the hawk. we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown. And we're getting a red bar buy signal here. We've got the green bar sell here on the eagle. We can wait for that. Now we're getting an opportunity for a second push on that green bar sell signal. What's it going to cost me here? Can I risk it up there? See, I'm still thinking the market trying to fill that gap. So I'm a little bit slow on the short side. And now we have a red bar buy. The red bar buy, of course, we can trade either way. We can look to buy it up. We can look to short it, sell the failure of it. They are just stuck. All right, here comes the Raptor again with that same signal. The cloud crossover, we keep drifting into the cloud. We're looking for the cloud to bounce us out. Let me give it a couple ticks, enter above the high of that bar, of this bar that's forming. All right, here we go. I'm going to hold my stop a little bit deeper. And see whether or not we can't get into that opening range gap. Oh yeah, sure, go ahead. Stall again. They poked through there for a second, and now we're seeing a little bit of a reaction as the sellers try to recover the market. The bulls got their work cut out for them. Come on, get up there. Peter asked, Eric, how do you get the session high and low on your Raptor chart? Here, I'm not going to fiddle with that chart. I'll show you on another one. It's a tool called the initial balance lines from Indicator Warehouse. It's an indicator. Initial balance lines. And what I do is I just set the opening range, and you need to set your time zone, start time, how long you want it to record for. And you can set other lines as well. There's retracement lines, all kinds of stuff that you can set. I'm just interested in the opening range. There's a Jim, one of the our DTS owners, programmed a free version of this, and it's available at the NinjaTrader forum. The difference between the initial balance lines and Jim's is Jim's lines are static, which means once they print, they don't resize to suit your chart. If you would like to go that route. I don't think the initial balance lines are that expensive either. You can also do it manually. You can do it, just pay attention to the low of the open and the high of the open and hit your F6 button, and you throw a line across there and a line across there. All right, come on, buyers, get up there. I suppose I could have used the second push entry on that one as well. Here we go. Come on. If we can get above the high of this bar, 48.31 half. There we go. There we go. 31 3/4. There we go. Okay, we should see a little bit of follow through now. At least back here to the 48. Oh, maybe even the high. 48. High of the morning. 48.34 3/4. Which is where I'm going to make my break even. There we go. Come on, you stinkers. Get going. Tony asks, why is that better than the current open high low, which of course is free as well as part of your indicator or your NinjaTrader indicator assortment. What these lines represent is the range or the high and low of opening range, that first half hour of trading. Some traders will allow the first hour of trading to dictate their opening range. The reasoning is that the big boys, the commercial traders, the hedge funds, they all get in that first half hour of trading. That's when all the news hits the floor. That's when everybody gets busy. Therefore, that first half hour of trading tends to be the most influential. The open high low, of course, keeps self-adjusting. If we break out above this 48.34 3/4 area, your high of the day will change. If we break below 48.14 3/4, your low of the day will change. Ray Burke was always a big one on avoiding the Globex Open. It doesn't bother me quite as much as it bothers Ray. But what is beginning to bother me is this lack of follow-through. Some people are very sensitive to the high of the day, the low of the day, but you need to bear in mind if the market never breaks the high of the day and never breaks the low of the day, within 2 days the market will be a flat line. There's a trading expression that says a bull market knows no resistance and a bear market knows no support. The trick, of course, is to figure out whether you're in a bull market or a bear market. Hey, way to go, Tony. I haven't even really been paying much attention to crude oil this morning. Tony says picked up a nice little rally on crude oil. I'm betting that was on the Falcon. Nice little trend change signal here. Yeah, good for you. You may even have gotten in on the early signal. right back there. It's pretty gutsy, but good job. And if you took the proper trend change signal, you would have hit your profit target now also. So hopefully that's going to translate into a little bit of a rally in the stock market as well. Yeah, this whole 48, 31, 32, 33 area really being a sticking point for the buyers. Sellers just loaded up right up here. Oops. Sellers hanging out right there. Speaking of diamond formations, I bet you this is a great big one. Oops. Come on, you're doing so well. Don't stop now. Get into that gap. Here we go. Okay, we're getting some follow through now. There we go. That's what we'd like to see. Okay, if they avoid stalling here again, what I'll do is I'll move into something maybe like a parabolic stop. I can do that already. Come on, you stinkers. Oh, really? Oh, yes. I'm just commenting on the market here. Oh, really? You're going to stall again? What I was going to point out is I didn't read Tony's email or post correctly. Sorry, it's been a long week. I'm starting to trip over my words. Tony says he took an OCO order on this. That's a good idea. You have an established range. Why not? Buy above the high, short below the low. Let the market bring you in. It just happened to coincide with a trend change signal. Why not? here we are at break even again. And here's the market flinching again. Let's go. You had the right idea there. Nice breakout. See, what's happening now is the sellers that were selling here at 48.35, they still think it's a good idea to sell, so they're selling some more. After all, I bet if I shoot a line across 48.35, I'll make this a little heavier. All right. And we go back to yesterday. Yeah, look at that. Knocked it down a couple of times in the afternoon. Oh yeah, look at that. Knocked it down after the morning rally. So you can see why traders are thinking 48.35 is a pretty good spot to short from. There's resistance there. Why not sell it? That's what they're thinking. Look how the Geiger counter is trying to move over. And the buyers, like us, are thinking it's got to try to get into that opening range gap. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. Oh, you stinkers. All right, well, the bull's got to show up now, or we're going to take another break-even tag. Yeah, there we go. So it's starting to look to me like the move of the day came out of the open. And right now the market is reluctant to recommit higher or lower. They try to move a little higher, they don't get very far. They try to move a little lower, they don't get very far. I guess I should be taking more profit on target instead of trying to run this out. Maybe I'm watching the wrong market today. Soybeans putting in a nice little rally. So they opened up down here, kind of flip-flopped for a little bit. At the end of opening range, actually, yeah, end of opening range. Got a nice little buy signal. There. Oops. That's the buy signal right here. It's our trend change signal, so the trend line changes color. We have this push that changes the trend line color from red to green. It's a little counter move by the sellers, and then the buyers showing us that they've gained control of the market. Green bars, green trend line, green filter. So kind of set up your trade like so. And we're at our high probability profit target. With soybeans, I do tend to double the profit objective, however. So you're already up $100. I tend to look for 200 on a swing in soybeans, just because there tends to be a little bit more follow through from them. All right, well, the NASDAQ's still flip-flopping a little bit. Crude oil's great. Great rally there. Hope you're still in that one, Tony. That's a fantastic move. Let's see what that's worth so far. So in there, 2 swings back and about $300 per contract. Yeah, way to go. Tony says I'm still in it. Good job. You're going to start putting the brakes on, I think, as we get closer to that 51 area. And here's why. We topped out here, and that was 50.94. Topped out here, 51.02. And the high of this bar currently 50.90. So chances of a reaction. The NQ just trading punches. Got some buying, got some selling. Yeah, way to go, Tony. Tony says just got stopped out. Nice bonus trade, he says. Shoot, anytime you can grab $300 out of the crude oil market, that's a good day. Crude oil not quite as volatile as it has been in the past, but still a very rangy market. Not quite as crazy as the guys in the cocoa pit. I think they're all certified, certifiable, those guys. Just out of curiosity, can I get a cocoa feed? And I'll show you what I mean. Oh, it looks like they're behaving themselves a little bit today. All right, so here's Cocoa on the Eagle. I don't know if this is a live, if I'm getting flowing data. Hold on, I'll throw the Geiger counter on here. No. So it's just a snapshot. I can refresh it, but I'm not getting flowing data. But here's cocoa. If you've never looked at the cocoa market, you can see some pretty pronounced swings, a lot of sideways trading. When they go, though, they'll go. They'll go hard. The default settings, oh no, sorry, these are the alternate settings, I was going to say. And even with the alternate settings, you can see some of the session a little bit quiet. There we go, that was a monster day. Lots of options. Never a shortage of markets to trade. Well, I'm not sure we're going to see very much more here this morning. I still can't help but think that the market is going to try to get into that opening gap. You can see we got another first micro-macro cross signal here on the hawk. Not a bad signal. You can enter there. Ideally, cover the trade below here. I'm not sure I would go in for the whole amount. Rather, I think I would reduce my risk, only put a single on it, just because the market hasn't really been following through very much today. We can look for a little bit of a rally here now, based on that first micro-macro cross, working a possible late filter entry signal. Yet another cloud crossover pullback. The signal that we took from back here, this was a cloud crossover. It was also a double pullback. Now, normally the double pullback signal is something that you take from an established trend. This one all kind of unfolded rather quickly. So the market pulling back into the cloud, looking for it to come out and produce yet another signal. But nothing so far, and the Geiger counter just pulling hard to the short side. Look at that. Pulling over, and they're sticking pretty hard. I don't know, folks. I almost think this is going to turn into a sideways range here today. Yeah, Tony says that it's odd the mid-cap not as rangy as the NASDAQ today. The mid-cap, that's the S&P 400. A great market to trade if you don't want to spring for the Russell data feed. The mid-cap and the Russell pretty much move together. Nice thing about the mid-cap is you can get some very nice signals and good follow-through. Now, I've got this on the alternate setting, so don't freak out if it doesn't look like yours. But you can see just great follow-through here this morning. Market picked a direction out of the open. Red bar buy signal down here. Now, speaking of market characteristics, the mid-cap, you're going to notice that the red bar buy signals have some tremendous follow-through, and their counterparts, the green bar sell, if I can find you one. This one got close, but not quite. You'll have to take my word for it. The red bar buys and the green bar sells, unlike when we see them in the NASDAQ or the mini Dow or the S&P, where they're normally a sign that the market may start to unwind, in the mid cap, there tends to be some really good follow through off of these last ditch signals, the last chance for the market to recover the trend. You can get some very, very strong signals off of red bar buys and green bar sells. But regardless, even if you didn't take that red bar buy, you've got a first micro macro cross a little while later, followed by a couple macro pullbacks, and the market just not looking back today, not at all. The mid cap adds up too. It's at $10 a tick. It's a little bit pricier, but I don't find it as expensive as the Russell. The Russell is like the E-mini. It seems that, and crude oil for that matter, it seems like the ranges it makes it difficult to capitalize on some of those. Yeah, I've always liked the mid cap. Ever since I was introduced to it, I've always thought it was a great market to follow. But you're right, Tony, the mid cap just making a nice smooth progression higher, and the NASDAQ all over the map today. Yeah, see, now we're getting a little toppy again, it seems. It's probably clearest here on the Raptor, where we're starting to make this a lower swing high. We're flirting with the lows. So here we are. I think it's going to be pretty quiet for the rest of the day. Or if we get a breakout, it's going to be in the afternoon sometime toward the close, I would venture a guess. So I think we're going to button up the room here this morning. It's almost the top of the hour. I've got an appointment to get to by 9, so let's call it a day. I hope everybody has a very nice weekend, and I will catch up with you again on Monday morning. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.